This is an introduction to buoyage, and this morning I'm going to use the Martin's which is available for you on the S drive. So if we go into the English section here, and then, well, while it's just loading up, I'll just tell you, well, here we go, buoyage IALA system, and if we move it on, so it's got a bit of a problem for loading. There are some questions that you can see, but this is an introduction, so I'll move straight on. IALA buoyage systems originated in 1973 as a result of a SOLAS convention. There were 35 different systems around the world, and in fact some cases the same buoy could have had two different meanings between two different ports. So as a result of accidents and collisions at sea, we decided to have a convention and come down to one particular system. There are two parts to it, however, but the IALA, International Association of Lighthouse Authorities, buoyage systems. We're going to split them into three sections, the first being lateral marks, then cardinal marks, and then the miscellaneous buoys. Let me start with the lateral buoys. The lateral buoys here, as you can see, this is a green buoy, but what we're actually looking at is we're looking at the shape of the buoy, and this is conical. The other one is a can shape. Now this one looks more like a can, but it's this flat top. The colour of the buoys is either going to be red or it's green. What are those? Well, they are, here the buoys that we can see, the type of buoys. Here we've got the can and we've got the cone. The cone and again the can. This is a pillar buoy and this is a spar buoy. So the buoys can be in any of these three shapes. Here either a can or a cone, the pillar or the spar. The pillar and the spar need to have top marks, as you can see. So if you were looking and they were silhouetted and you can't see the colour, you can still pick up the shape of the buoy by looking at the top mark. The buoys, the can and the cone, the can mark is the port hand buoy and the cone being the starboard hand. So you can see from this bit of artwork, here we have the vessel coming into port. She's staying on the starboard side of the channel. These here are the starboard hand buoys. Why? Well, because I've got this indicating the direction of the buoyage, so that we're actually going in the direction of the buoyage. So alternative, as the vessel comes out and leaves port, then you'll see that this port hand buoy now becomes the starboard hand buoy because I'm coming out of buoyage, because I'm going against the direction of buoyage. Pretty cool artwork, isn't it? Yeah, actually there's £4 million worth here. You're being surprised. It's good stuff. Okay, let's move on. So let's have a look at region A. So let's just, before we go, this is where we have two channels. Here we've got the can buoy, which is a port hand buoy, and it's saying that the preferred channel is to starboard. There is a secondary channel, and this one is to port in this particular case. How do I know that? Because I'm going with the direction of buoyage. This buoy is a can buoy. I'm going to leave this on my port side, so this is a preferred channel to starboard, identifying that there are two. Okay, so this is this symbol that you'd find on the charts, the arrow with two dots next to it. Okay, here's the map of the world. You'd think that it'll all be the same, but it's not. Yeah, here region A is the world. Yeah, and this is the vast majority. However, there is an American influence, and the American influence is this section, which is region B. So the Americas, and we've got Japan, Korea and the Philippines. So Korea being South Korea. These areas are the American influence and they're called region B. but it's easier to say the world is region A and region B is that with the American influence. The direction of buoyage is that it moves clockwise round the continents. So the buoyage is moving in this direction, and as we start to move up the Atlantic, it's moving in this direction. But it always flows into port. If we're on the American side, then it comes down the Atlantic and then back up the Pacific. Okay, let's see how that applies to us for region A. Region A is for the lateral buoys, then it's a can-shaped mark and it's a cone-shaped mark. We keep red to port and green to starboard when I'm going with the direction of buoyage. Just like the vessel's lights, side lights, red on the port side, green on the starboard side. A power-driven vessel has to stay to the starboard side of the channel when she's going with the direction of buoyage. Here, the vessel coming out of port is going against the direction of buoyage. She also is staying to the starboard side of the channel. So by day, we can look at the shape of the buoys and the colour of the buoys. By night, surprisingly, these green buoys have a green light, and the red buoys have a red light. So, the rhythm of these lateral buoys can be any rhythm: isophase, long flash, short flash, quick flash. It can be anything other than composite 2+1. The mariner, as she goes into port, would keep an idea in his head of the passage plan, which would indicate which buoys or which rhythm each of the buoys represent. So let's see. So here is the port hand buoy. As we said, here's the can-shaped buoy, here's the pillar-shaped buoy but with the top mark, and this is the spar with the top mark. How does she look by night? Well, here's the flashing light, red in colour, any rhythm other than composite 2+1. The starboard hand buoy, green in colour with a cone. So this is the cone by day. If she carries a top mark, it would be a cone. Here, where the pillar or the spar, they need to carry this top mark. Their lights, surprisingly, are green. Anything other than 2+1. Here we've got, if loads, we've got the preferred channel. Red in colour, region A, port hand buoy. Again, so what we're saying is that there is two channels at this particular junction. The main channel, the preferred channel, is to starboard when I'm going with the direction of buoyage. However, there is a secondary channel going to port. As the vessel comes through, you can see that this is a port hand buoy, and when I'm going with the direction of buoyage, I need to leave it on the port hand. By night, you can see that here are the green and the red buoys, and this one here is a composite 2+1. So here we go, 1, 2 and 1, and then repeated 1, 2 and 1. Okay. This combination is just primarily for this buoy. Here we look at the buoy. As you look at it, she's a red can with a green stripe in region A. The light, come on, quick flash, a composite 2+1. As we load up the next section, this will take us through the preferred to port. A green cone indicates that the main channel is to port, and I'm going to leave this on my starboard hand when I'm going with the direction of buoyage. For the MCA orals, they'll tend to put you going against the direction of buoyage. Why? Because they're tricky, that's why. Okay, so actually what does it look like at night? Again, here's the flashing lights, and again it's a composite 2+1. What does the buoy look like? A green cone with a red stripe. Region A, starboard hand buoy, preferred channel to port. Okay, let's have a look at Region B. Region B being the American influence. We're very fortunate that the Americans agreed with us and kept the same shape. So can is to port and cone is to starboard. What they have done is they've changed the colours. The beauty in these situations is that if you look at the shape of the buoy, then that will tell you, A, if you're going with the direction of buoys, which hand to leave it on. So the Americans, if I can give you some sort of reason, is that the Americans seem to think, and rightly so for them, that the water flows out of a channel as opposed to into a channel. Whereas the rest of the world decide that you're going into port for the first time, it's the first time you're going to see it. And also it's saying, follows the same convention of red on the port side and green on the starboard. Americans are just funny. What we can say to you though is if you've got a red buoy, it's a red light, and if you've got a green buoy, it's a green light. So you as navigators, particularly because you're from Fleetwood, would understand, yeah, that you should know where you are in the world and where the regions are. You should also know whether you're going into port or coming out of port. These lateral buoys are only used in sight of land, where it can be clearly seen whether you're actually going into port or coming out of port. Here's our port hand. Look at the shape of the buoy. It is a port hand buoy, although coloured green, and again it has a green light. The starboard hand buoy, red now, but the shape remains the same. Here's the pillar, here's the spar, but look at the top marks. Red light, anything other than composite 2+1, because they also carry the preferred channel, region B, preferred channel to port or preferred channel to starboard. Here, look at the shape of the buoy. It's a port hand buoy. I'm going with the direction of buoyage. That means I need to leave it on my port hand side. Secondary buoy on the other. If we move on, then we can see that the preferred channel to starboard is the cone buoy. Again, it's just a different colour. So here it's a starboard hand buoy. I'm going with the direction of buoyage. I need to leave it on my starboard side. Okay, so those are the lateral buoys.